Bryan Freedman, Justin Baldoni's attorney, has just shot back at Blake Lively's motion to dismiss. Blake is abusing the legal system. 3 exclamation points. Bryan Freedman tells TMZ Ms. Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion. Megan, wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did.
Hollywood isn't just about fame, fortune, and fancy coffee. It's also packed with lawsuits, settlements, and behind-the-scenes power plays. Enter Bryan Freedman, a top attorney known for taking on big-name cases. This time, he's caught in a legal battle that, somehow, involves Blake Lively. Because, of course, when it comes to Hollywood disputes, even the courtroom drama has a touch of star power.
Because actually, Blake Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, was planting stories negative to Justin. And all Justin wanted to do, and it's all through the text messages. If the New York Times apparently reviewed 1,000 or more pages of text messages, they would have seen it. Justin never wanted to hurt her, never wanted to be negative to her. He wanted to protect the film, he wanted to protect himself, and he wanted to protect her from making negative allegations about him that were made up and that are proven in this case, and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. There's a number of different defendants here. Stephanie Jones will be all over this complaint. That is the PR agent who was supposed to be working for Justin Baldoni. Leslie Sloan, who's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
You'd think lawsuits are resolved with calm discussions, fair deals, and a polite handshake. But this is Hollywood, where every dispute becomes a high-stakes showdown. And Blake Lively? She's not just watching from the sidelines. According to Bryan Freedman, she's actively pushing for a settlement, using whatever leverage she has, whether that's persuasion, pressure, or pure star power. One thing's for sure, this legal battle is shaping up to be just as dramatic as any Hollywood blockbuster.
They worked with the New York Times. Her publicist worked directly with the New York Times. They shared illegally obtained text messages. They shared those together. They concocted a complaint that they filed with the Civil Rights Division. They omitted texts that would have provided context, texts that were in the exact same string that would have provided context of what was really going on. And in fact, they actually removed emojis from texts that show that there was satire and there was joking around by the PR crisis agents. I mean, the PR crisis agent...
Bryan Freedman is no stranger to high-stakes legal battles. He's gone head-to-head with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. So if he says Blake Lively is putting serious pressure on the other side, you can bet there's more to the story. After all, in Hollywood, people don't just ask for things. They make them happen. And if a settlement is in the works, you can be sure Lively isn't just sitting around waiting for the paperwork to go through.
She initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal system. Freedman says stringent rules are put into place to protect the innocent and allow individuals to rightfully defend themselves, while noting laws are not meant to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda. In his statement to TMZ, Freedman reiterated, as we said yesterday in response to Mr. Reynolds' same cowardly measures, we will continue to hold Ms. Lively accountable for her actions of pure malice, which included falsely accusing my clients of harassment and retaliation. Freedman summed it up by saying Blake's fantastical claims will be swiftly debunked as discovery moves forward, easily disproved with actual evidentiary proof.
So, what's Blake Lively actually doing? Well, if the rumors are true, she's pulling every string she can to keep this case from dragging on. And no, she's not arguing legal points in a courtroom. Hollywood stars have teams for that. Instead, she's reportedly using her influence in ways only someone with her level of power can.
Okay, so this is an excerpt from my new favorite book, which is the website that Justin Baldoni published, all about his correspondence with Blake Lively. And this is one of my favorite excerpts with my new favorite Game of Thrones character, Blake Lively. Are you ready for it? And him serving it back to her is just as important. You don't usually see both the man and the woman with such agency and humor. Anyway, I can act it out for you next week to make sure it comes through. Or I can send it now. Let me know what you prefer. XX. To which Justin Baldoni responded, sorry, I was just crying my eyes out as kids and family just left for another 5 weeks and it was a shit show. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji.
When an A-lister wants something, they don't just ask. They mobilize their team, tap into their connections, and sometimes even use the media to steer things their way. And if there's one thing Hollywood hates more than a drawn-out lawsuit, it's bad press. So if Blake Lively is pushing for settlement, it wouldn't be surprising if certain narratives are being carefully shaped behind the scenes. As for Bryan Freedman, he's no stranger to high-profile legal battles, and he's not the type to back down. But even a powerhouse attorney knows that when a Hollywood star starts pulling strings, things can get messy fast. Fighting a case in court is one thing. Going up against an entire industry built on controlling public perception is another.
Baldoni's the bad guy. And just to lay it out for the audience in a little bit more detail, what she's claiming is that even though she was a much bigger star than Justin Baldoni, who I never heard of before this lawsuit, she's the much bigger star, and she's married to an even bigger star than she is, Ryan Reynolds, that she came in and onto this project and started to get harassed and mistreated by Justin and some others, and that when she then demanded that all of her concerns be rectified, that he did it, but that he was basically lying in wait for when the film would get released in case she went public with what happened, that he and his PR team determined to bury her, to ruin her, and that this wave of bad press we did see about Blake Lively when the film came out this past summer was not organic. It was totally orchestrated by Justin and his team.
Then Hollywood, where reputations are worth millions, the quicker a lawsuit or scandal disappears, the better. If dragging things out means unwanted headlines, then settling fast becomes the smartest move. And if Blake Lively is making sure that's exactly where this case is headed, one thing's clear. She's not taking no for an answer.
Blake Lively writes, I can send you my pass at the roof, or just read with you when we get together next week. Let me know what you prefer, smiley face. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of just how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth.
So, why does Blake Lively care so much? Simple control. Hollywood stars like to shape the narrative, and drawn-out legal battles do the exact opposite. The longer a case drags on, the more details leak, and the less predictable things become. And if there's one thing celebrities can't stand, it's unpredictability. Meanwhile, Bryan Freedman is likely weighing his options carefully. He's been through this before. He knows when to push back and when to let things unfold. But if Lively is set on fast-tracking a settlement, this isn't just a legal fight anymore. It's a full-on Hollywood power play.
And I'd like to apologize to Justin Baldoni because he treated me well and did nothing wrong, and I allowed him to sit in a basement with his family because I was starstruck by Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown. Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Bryan Freedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
Right away. I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and like the branding of the nice girl stuff. And something just didn't, I went through Justin Baldoni's Instagram and he just seemed like a puppy. And it just didn't add up to me that this guy was secretly just dying to talk about pornography all the time and talk about his porn addiction and wanted her to look at pornography. I'm going, this is not the Instagram feed I'm looking through. And I went back years.
Let's not forget the other side of this case. They may not have Blake Lively's star power, but they definitely have something at stake. If they're pushing back against a settlement, it's probably because they believe they have a solid case, or maybe, just maybe, they're holding out for a bigger payout. Because in Hollywood, lawsuits aren't just about justice, they're about leverage.
They actually did it is far less fruitful, right? The text about like, we could, here's what we might do if we need to, those are everywhere. The text proving they did, far less ubiquitous in this complaint. And what you've said now in your lawsuit against the Times is, don't even believe the texts that you see in the Lively lawsuit because they're seriously misrepresented, omitting major facts that would give them an entirely different meaning, never mind greater context. And that's where I want to bring you in.
So, where does that leave things? For now, it's a waiting game. But if Bryan Freedman is making it clear that Blake Lively is pushing hard for a resolution, this legal drama likely won't drag on much longer. One way or another, someone is going to give in. And if Lively has her way, it won't be her. Because in Hollywood, it's not just about who's right or wrong. It's about who has the power to control the outcome. And if Lively is pushing for a settlement, it's not because she's hoping for the best. It's because she knows exactly how to make things go her way.